Yup, we're clickbaiting Japan. But no, this isn't a white guy misinterpreting a Japanese concept. This is an MBA student correctly interpreting a business concept. Let's talk about Poka-yoke. Poka-yoke is a Japanese concept all about mistake proofing or foolproofing. It comes from the phrase poka o yokeru, where poka means error and yokeru means to avoid. Fun fact, it's also been known as baka-yoke or foolproofing. You all know baka, right?
Kinda smell.
What the
Like a baka.
Okay, we have weebs in the audience. Poka-yoke was originally coined in the 1960s by Japanese industrial engineer Shigeo Shingo. A major point of Poka-yoke is to make inevitable human errors less inevitable through prevention at the source. Some examples of Poka-yoke that you might see in your everyday life are handrails on stairs to help prevent falling, the need to brake before switching your car out of park, seals on medicine to visibly show that there's been no tampering, or even a simple checklist to make sure every step in a process has been completed and in the right order. Let's first discuss the business application of Poka-yoke to better understand how it works. Poka-yoke is a very popular way of thinking in total quality management, where the goal, as the name suggests, is to maximize quality by managing the processes of your business. In business, Poka-yoke is designed to help prevent mistakes from happening anywhere in the process. This can range from steps in manufacturing to ensure products are made correctly, steps on the supply chain to make sure things are transported properly, or even at the consumer level with how the product is designed. This whole concept of bulletproofing a design or process can extend far beyond just the business world too. Can you tell I'm studying an MBA? Is it just me? Gosh, like even when I'm going on dates, I'm using terms like return on investment when flirting. Please send help. But anyways, that's the main gist of Poka-yoke, mistake proofing. If in business, Poka-yoke is primarily done for total quality management, what about applying it in your own personal life? What about a total quality life? This reminds me a lot of the ideas in the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. One major lesson is to design your space to ensure that bad habits are more difficult to do and that good habits are easier to do. For example, if when you're not watching the TV, you unplug it and put the remote in a drawer, there will be fewer prompts for you to turn on the TV and sit down and potentially waste time that you meant to do other things on. I'm not saying that all time spent on leisure is wasted, but if you meant to do something else, you should make the thing you mean to do the easier thing than watching the TV. You could also wear your gym clothes to bed to be extra ready for an AM workout. Or you could even delete apps from your phone that you spend too much time on and want to add an extra hurdle of going to that app's website to be able to use them. That all said about making bad habits more difficult, for some people, especially if you're neurodivergent, that can be the opposite of the intended effect. Creating obstacles can just make the things you want to do take more time and ultimately make you waste more time when you're actually making yourself do them. If no matter how many obstacles you place, you're gonna check Instagram anyways, might as well make it easier and just find some way to break the loop while you're in it. But this is all to say there's a lot of great advice out there that applies to a lot of people, but not all advice applies to all people and all brains. Try things out and see what actually works for you. With that disclaimer, let's think of some ways you can add guardrails to your life to help ensure success while minimizing mistakes. Let's start with designing your phone for success. I use an app called Blank Spaces, which makes widgets on my iPhone to make a very simplified home screen. You got the Notes app, Duolingo, Headspace, Pokemon Go, because I do my walks and I gotta play Pokemon, Google Calendar. You got some other widgets for like Google Maps, Gmail, etc. And then other apps like Instagram. Setting up your home screen this way does take a bit of time, but it makes your home screen very clean and focused, and it works on both Android and iOS. Another app that I use as a personal Poka-yoke is called OneSec. If I open an app that I don't want to spend too much time on that I've pre-selected, such as Instagram, I'll get a thing for like a morning journal to make me write a little journal entry. And if I skip that, it'll force me to take a little deep breath for 6 to 10 seconds to stop me from mindlessly switching around on apps. OneSec does take even more time to set up than Blank Spaces, but it is such a game changer to stop you from mindlessly going through your phone. That said, if I do actually intend to open a specific app like Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube, like if someone sent me a video and I want to watch it, or if I'm like on my designated break time, it's annoying to have to wait for 10 seconds. Like I said, sometimes creating obstacles can just make the thing you're trying to stop doing take more time to do. However, I will take that small annoyance generally when I want to intentionally open an app like Instagram or YouTube, rather than mindlessly opening these apps all the time throughout the day without realizing. And 1sec also works on desktop, though I've only tested it on Mac and with Safari. Otherwise, I would generally recommend that you delete apps that you really don't want to use, apply 1sec for apps that you want to use less, and simplifying your home screen in some way to reduce the number of cues to open these apps. One really nice thing with my organized, simplified touchscreen is that I actually have to search up the name of an app that isn't in my blank spaces in order to open it. So I have to think about using the app before I can even get to the point of opening it. Makes it significantly more intentional and less mindless. We've discussed your phone, but what about your physical space? Another important concept in operations management is layout design. How can you design your space to maximize efficiency, or in this case, minimize errors? When we think of layout design, that's usually like how a factory is organized to produce items the most efficiently, or like how Chipotle organizes its stations to make custom burritos in under a minute. But let's just think. How can you arrange your own space for success? For example, instead of leaving your running shoes in the closet, maybe put them by your door so you put them on when you go out for your morning run. Reduce that friction. When you go to bed, you can also place your phone at least out of arm's reach so that you're less tempted to doom scroll for hours on end before you fall asleep. Advice that I should especially follow. Oops. This is less about layout, but you could still make a checklist of habits you want to do every day to help hold yourself accountable and remember to do them. Otherwise, conceptually, how can you arrange the layout of your furniture and stuff in your room? Whatever it takes to minimize friction from the things you want to do and maybe increase frictions on the things you want to do less. Unfortunately, I don't have much to show you personally because as of now, I really only control the bedroom that I live in and work from and store most of my stuff in. But within my limited space, I do have small things to help actually do the things I want to do. Like I have my exercise shoes down by my weights, which is by the door so that I can do a little lift, or just take my shoes and go for a run. And as of recently, I'm actually trying to have a clean, clear desk. Trying to keep clutter off, I say, as there is. But the big takeaway with Poka-yoke is if there's something you want to do, how can you mistake-proof the path to get there? Whether that's using your phone less, working out, whatever. How can you bulletproof the process? Quick fun tangent. Is Poka-yoke cultural appropriation? Ooh. First, obviously I am not the right person to truly determine that, but a major pet peeve of mine is when usually white or otherwise non-Japanese people totally mystify Japan. Is Poka-yoke and its emphasis in business school cultural appropriation? Again, not the right person to answer that question. However, I've done some research. If you Google Poka-yoke in Japanese, there are a myriad of articles about the concept in Japanese. And as we discussed in the origin, it does indeed for sure have Japanese origins. The person who coined the term was Shigeo Shingo, a Japanese industrial engineer. And I have also perused some Japanese business articles that talk about it. And moreover, and if you are Japanese or a Japanese speaker, this will be the thing that really tips it over the edge of is it actually a Japanese concept? Poka-yoke is an abbreviation. Japan loves its abbreviations. I think it's a shut case. The fact that it's an abbreviation alone adds more credence of legitimacy than anything any weeb in business could say about another Japanese concept. To be honest, the idea for this video started when I was in an operations class lecture and I realized, oh, we're learning about Poka-yoke right now. It's pretty easy to clickbait people with stuff like, this Japanese concept will change your life. Look at the obsession people have online with terms like ikigai or kaizen. These are useful concepts, and Japanese business has produced very many useful concepts, but don't froth at the mouth just because they're Japanese origins, you bunch of weebs. Okay, that's my little rant. Gomen nasai kedo, gomen o shinai. Anyways, how can you mistake-proof your life? It is impossible to be perfect, and no one should set themselves to the standard of absolute perfection. However, using Poka-yoke and mistake-proofing the process, you might be able to reduce a lot of hiccups towards achieving your goals. How might you mistake-proof your life? Let me know in the comments how you might mistake-proof your New Year's resolution. You gotta yoke the baka in you with Poka-yoke. Why am I like this? Anyways, thanks to my patrons, Joshua and Logan. Remember to press those good YouTube buttons. Bye!